I started this Minecraft medieval survival series less than a week ago. Since then, we've made some excellent progress in our world. If you haven't watched the previous 2 episodes, we mined for diamonds, built a starter home, and built ourselves an underground villager dungeon in the span of a handful of episodes. With this natural progression, we are now inclined to build ourselves a world-class wheat farm to assist us in our journey. With all the wheat we don't eat, we're going to use that with the other build we have planned for this episode, which is a sheep pen. I've already cleared out a building space and I've collected materials to build these structures, as you can see by the super duper fast resource collecting montage. For those of you confused about where the texture pack went, I deleted it because I felt the texture pack was a little too busy and didn't necessarily coexist with the idea I had in my head for the building style I had for this series. I'm keeping the shaders because hot damn, these make the game look beautiful, but I won't be running a texture pack now, simply because I miss the look of vanilla Minecraft. If you people down in the comments have a texture pack to suggest instead, please let me know, but for now, I'm content with vanilla textures. I want to design my wheat farm in a circular shape instead of a typical square rectangular fashion. In my earlier episodes, I specified that I wanted to get out of my comfort zone in the series in order to keep the game refreshing. And oh boy did I go out of my comfort zone for this one. I think I can count the number of times I've attempted a circle in Minecraft on one hand, seriously. Luckily, I thought ahead and found this program online that does all the work for you. You essentially just plug in how many blocks wide you want the circle, and the program draws a pixelated circle that you can easily follow to make your Minecraft circles. I made a cross set of dirt blocks to line up where the edges of my circle would be, and with my Minecraft on my main monitor and the program on my second monitor, I slowly plotted out where the blocks would go. Once I finished, the largest challenge that I faced was simply figuring out how to decorate it. I changed the design of this thing numerous times until I was finally happy with what I was left with. Although I didn't know exactly what to do, as per usual, I knew that I had a few boxes that needed to be checked in order to be considered a success. Number 1, it has to follow a somewhat medieval theme, as the title of the series implies. This is accomplished by using a certain block palette that includes stone, cobble, wood, log, and other more naturally occurring materials. Number 2, I wanted a somewhat enchanted feeling to the building just to give the landscape more life than what's currently there. Who knew that a plain grassy field didn't make for good scenery? Number 3, it has to be functional because I will be depending on this for my food supply and for the sheep farm that I'll be building later on in the episode. I changed my mind so many times on this build that it's not even funny. I kept having ideas in my head and none of them were working out. To start everything off, I placed half slabs on every other spruce log to give the ring a staggered and more unbalanced look. I originally wanted the farm to look slapped together and unstable, but the final result looks far from these descriptions. I further amplified the staggered look by filling in the empty gaps in the spruce logs with cobblestone fence. At this point in time, I was pretty happy with the foundation that I had made so far. I tried a few things out, but got frustrated and brought the structure back down to its spruce log roots. Going for another attempt, I placed cobblestone walls on every spruce log and placed some deep slate half slabs in front of them, acting as a small border to go around the structure. On top of those cobblestone walls, I placed some more deep slate half slabs and made an archway in front to signify where the entrance was. I ran around the wheat farm and carved out an archway on every side for ease of access. Once again, I made a few design changes and created some windows on the corners just so it looked less like a giant rock and more like a cage, placed over top of the land. I really love how the leaves are utilized in this build, almost as a crown on top of it all. Greenery was a nice way to break up the commonly used palette of wood and stone. After planting all my seeds, my farm was finally working and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. If there are suggestions you would like to leave for the build, please leave them down in the comments below so I can read them and possibly utilize them. So this is exactly the same as when I built the wheat farm, but this time I'm doing it for the sheep farm. I'm just making out the cross sections so that I can make sure I place my blocks in the correct area. And I'm going to be doing it again out of spruce logs just because I think those look really nice and they're abundant in the area. So I just have to dig away part of this little hill just so I can get my corners around the side there and then it's going to be going back around this way, and then we're going to duplicate it the same on the other side. At this point in the footage, we finished our circle and we did the staggered wood log design, and then we're now replacing some stone fences in between. And I already have the arch marked out in the front because with this one I'm only going to have a single entrance, while the wheat farm I have 4 entrances. But I don't see that as very necessary on the sheep farm, since I only really will need to enter from the one side. And I can obviously put the sheep through the one side anyway. After this, we just place some spruce planks on the corners, just so I can get some more decoration. And then I duplicate it on the other side. In this part, I wasn't quite happy with how the planks looked in my final product, so I just replaced them with logs instead, and I think this is what I keep throughout the rest of it, just because I think it completes the build a little better and looks a little less random. As much as I want it to look slightly random and not exactly messy, but more natural, I want it to still have more of a uniform and symmetrical appearance. So this is where the logs really came into play. I'm using these leaves to create an accent again, as I did with the wheat farm, just so they match, and I just think it really matches the trees in the background and makes it have more of a natural appearance, like I said earlier, of what I wanted to go for. I'm placing some slabs on the top just to decorate it, but then I decide that I don't really want them right on the leaves, so I place them on corners of the stairs. And this is also sort of matching my wheat farm in the design, so I just want to make sure they match really well because they're right next to each other. I'm replacing the bottom walls with cobbled deep slate just because I think it looks better, and I think it matches the build a lot more, and it makes the build have more of a stronger appearance and looks like it's supporting itself more. With the build pretty much finished, I just add a last few finishing touches to my build and make sure that everything looks correct. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed what you've seen. I've had a lot of fun building this, and I think it turned out really well. Let me know what you think in the comments down below for other suggestions you have for the series. But as far as the sheep farm and wheat farm go, I think we did good.